them into the VR space and use that to help sculpt and mold different visuals in the VR. So that's an example of some of that right there. The interesting thing is this was something we started really just messing around with and seeing if what we were seeing 2D, if we can explore it in a 3D space. And we found that, not only could you come up with something really quick and create, but you can get extremely detailed. And again, you saw some of the printing process and really, again, bringing some of those ideas to life in a very imaginative and real way.
Yeah, I always like these processes and seeing how the designers get into detail with their sketching. And right now, it's just really wrapping your head around a 3D space, having fun, developing, creating, and mashing up anything and other designs that everybody want to do.
And let me ask you this, so
Yeah.
for the audience, really, you guys created shoes, obviously, on 2K. How long would y'all say, or raise your hand if you ever did it in like less than 20 minutes? All right, and that would take you over an hour. Raise your hand. All right. So.
Used to take me an hour.
Okay.
Yeah, just to really get in there and have fun with that sport.
So then, how long would you say this entire process of this video in real time took?
And
to design the sketch.
So just to do something simple, it can take you 10 minutes. If you're doing something a little more details, as you see a little later, you can spend, an hour, 2 hours, a couple hours, really building out something and putting all the ideas that you have into the shoe. And at the end, you have something that's a little more realistic. And you'll see an example of that. But you see right here, using a square, I'm able to go into something called sub D, which is I guess a flicker or a knob that you can turn forms into something more smooth. So you can turn a box into a basic tooling in 2 seconds, right? So it's really playing around with that space.
Yeah, it's like clay in 3D space. And after these guys get done with this, that's when they give it to me, where I usually add graphics, I add color, I add more fun and flair to it that the designers sometimes don't want to bother with. Like France, he just likes designing the shoe and moving to the next project. And for me, I like this part of coloring, adding logos, adding details, designs, and aesthetics. And honestly, like we can probably look at more products that we actually have created. And I mean, you can watch this through too, but you will be able to see a couple more projects that we've worked on, other projects that we developed. And you see, this was a project I did when I was at Puma. I was able to do the Puma Jet, where I was able to design like the whole thing. I just did that over time. That project, this one only took me like 30 minutes, but when I showed this to Nipsey Hussle and everybody, he was like, yo, I'm putting it in the video. And I was like, that's cool, because when you are a designer, these creatives, just as much as, God rest his soul, Nipsey and Jay, when these people are out here, they want to meet the creators, and you're a part of all these ideas, all these expressions. And let's go to another slide of this one, where it was another project for me where I designed the uniforms for the Olympics for Rio 2016. Yeah, so I did you see that jersey? So yeah, all these designs, all the stuff you can do and be creative, and they take your ideas and bring it more to life. And I told you, like, I used to design jerseys when I was a kid. Now you can do that now.
So, okay, what I'm hearing is it really just started from shoe design, but it can evolve from you just designing anything.
Absolutely, and like what's interesting about this is I talked about attacking the space and really making your voice heard. Again, I mentioned me and Astor at Puma, but we took over a whole closet that they used to put storage equipment in. We threw that out and we used it almost as our design war room, sketching on the walls, going crazy, and giving them the idea to collaborate with Jay-Z and reinvigorate or start up the basketball division. Again, they were thinking about using like Ed Sheeran, his great music, but that wouldn't have worked for Puma. So really bringing these ideas to some of our leaders, people in leadership, and again, turning an idea into something real. They were able to contact Jay-Z. He came in, we were working, and we developed the basketball shoe that you see here. And again, the entire Puma basketball division. So this is an idea or an example of fighting for that space and really making sure your voice is heard.
Absolutely. Okay, so I mean, we could really. Was there any
Some more projects I worked on here. I was doing some runway stuff with Missoni. It was like an Italian knit brand, and then the shoe that I worked on actually ended up on the runway. And also doing some punk rock anniversary stuff on my days at Converse. Again, just putting ideas into reality.
So okay, now we can, I guess, because it's more than just designing shoes. How many of y'all have had ideas to design anything outside of a shoe? Okay, so some of you.
Okay.
Let me ask this: what in this industry are like the different opportunities and the different jobs that you can get in terms of creating a career, right? Because we want to not only create stuff, but we want to create stuff and make money off of it.
Right. So I really feel like it's, at least in the design field, you have graphic design, you have color design, where you're just coloring the shoes, where if you just love coloring and you know how to put different colors together and make things beautiful, like this shoe, like if you want to just make this four stripe from pink to purple, that's your job. You know what I'm saying? If you want to do footwear design, which is more of the engineering side of things, you can. And with me and my background in our direction, I was able to do graphic design, work with advertising and the marketing side to really see all my projects all the way through. So there's so many other opportunities, not to just be a footwear designer, you could be an apparel designer. And if you're a graphic designer, you work on designs on footwear and apparel. So that's what I worked on.
So it's really, and design really is the process of storytelling, right? Whether that gets executed in footwear form, whether it's a movie, whether it's you're designing apparel or fashion, it's the idea or the art of storytelling, right? So if you can tell stories, if you can think of ideas, if you can help shape and help execute and turn those ideas into reality, that really is what design is. Again, it gets translated into different executions, and you can kind of pick the format that really speaks to you. If it's footwear, if it's apparel, if it's architecture, if it's literally just telling stories or working as a marketer in the advertisement space, like Aston mentioned. But being not scared to express yourself. I mean, your ideas matter, what you think is important, and a lot of these big brands, I mean, they're gunning for you. They want your ideas. I mean, they already want your money, but they want your ideas. So it makes sense for you to go into these brands and shape the way that they look so that you can have more people that look like you.
So in about 2 minutes now, do we have the mics for the questions in the audience? We got the mics ready to go? We're gonna need them in like a second. So